This video is brought to you by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino.
Welcome back, folks. I'm Jake Ellenbogen. Today we're going to be talking about Kaitori Leveston Jr., also known as KT Leveston. Before we dive into it, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Also, be sure to follow me on all social media at JK Bogan, including Instagram. And of course, just want to let you guys know that today's video, if you didn't see it, is sponsored by BetUS. BetUS is essentially a sports book, and you can get 125% sign-up bonus up to $2,000 or a 200% crypto deposit bonus. It has fast and easy deposits. The withdrawal process is pretty easy as well. You can check out my BetUS link in the description below. 24/7 personalized service, 365 days a year, live wagering on all major games, and it's the best betting variety in the business. So get your 10% back on your net losses twice a year with BetUS. And in addition to that, you could also have an account manager. So if you need any help whatsoever for any issues whatsoever on the site, you have your personal account manager. But that is BetUS. Click the link in the description to get started today. Okay, so I want to talk about KT Leveston because, guys, I moved. You're all aware of that. That's why my setup is different than it was in April. So I moved on May 1st, right? And when I moved, I totally, I had my notes. I actually had, surprisingly, I had hard copy notes. And the reason I say this is because I was writing down, during that time, hey, I should cover this, and I had video lists and stuff. And so I actually just realized, because of the move, I never put out a KT Leveston video, ever. Never have talked about him. I've talked about him in videos, but I've never talked strictly just about him. So, yeah, this is long overdue. And, he's a guy that I really like. I watched film on him a lot out of Kansas State after he was drafted. This is somebody that's going to be 25 in October. So, again, we talk about the theme going back from the draft. And the theme, of course, was the fact, look, the Rams wanted to go out and get guys that could help right away. They wanted to go out and get older prospects, essentially, 24, 25, even 26 years old. So KT Leveston will be 25 in October. He's 6'4", 337 pounds. So great body composition there. He was drafted in round 7, 254th overall in this past draft out of Kansas State. He's a former 3-star recruit in his own right out of Waco, Texas. And this is somebody that spent his entire college career at Kansas State. He redshirted his first year at Kansas State. He played 4 games in his second year as a backup. He played in 10 games and started 5 in 2020. He spent all of 2021 as a backup, and then in 2022, he became a starter and an honorable mention for all Big 12 honors. And then, of course, he graduated, but he decided to use his extra year eligibility because of the COVID, essentially the COVID waiver. So he stayed another year in 2023, and he received, essentially the same thing. All Big 12 honorable mention. So this is somebody that participated at the East-West Shrine Bowl. I think when you look at him as a player, he really fits what the Rams are looking for now. If you told me that Leveston was going to be a guy that they'd be interested in, say 5 years ago, I would have said absolutely not. They have drafted his type before, but really their archetype has been quick and nimble. Okay, they want more, technicians instead of guys that are, maulers, guys that are, can move you from point A to point B. More they preferred more, nimble athleticism, things like that. But now it seems like they've gone with more play strength, power, and all of that. So Leveston definitely fits the mold there. He's not an impressive athlete by any stretch. Not that it's a bad thing. I mean, you don't have to be overly bow limbers aren't normally, existing, right? It's not easy to find an athlete like Bo Limmer playing that position at the athletic profile that he plays it at. But Leveston's decent. He didn't test ultimately very well, but he did have 80th plus percentiles in both his weight and broad jump. So that's something that was interesting. But again, it goes back to the Rams changing their archetype for offensive line. Like I said, they used to focus on more quick, nimble-footed offensive linemen, and now they like more of that power structure. Leveston, he played 3 positions in college. Now, let me make this very clear. He's going to play guard in the NFL. He translates very well over to guard, his skill set, his body composition, all of that. But he played over 2,000 snaps at left tackle. So let me make that very clear, because he did not even play 50 snaps at either guard position. So let me, I want to put that out there, because this is a work in progress here. He's going to have to get used to the feel of it. He did not play guard enough for me to say, yeah, he's a natural guard. This is a projection move, okay? It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work, but I think it could. Leveston gave up 8 sacks and 52 pressures in 902 pass pro snaps at the left tackle spot. He was penalized 19 times in his career, but only twice in his last season. So we definitely saw some growth there, some maturation, and some discipline from Leveston. Brandon Thorne, who, there are, people that I really trust at certain positions that just know them very well. Brandon Thorne is kind of the guru, in my opinion, at offensive line. And Brandon Thorne of Bleacher Report, basically he compared him to Jamon Brown. And I actually like that comp a lot. I'm not a huge fan of comps, because I feel like quite often you get like audience members, or you get fans or, readers or whatever that are always like, hey, what's the comparison? I need a comparison. And I feel like nowadays everything needs to be compared. First off, I'll say this. Comparison is the thief of joy, okay? And that's just in general. I've heard that saying so many times. My grandpa said that once. So comparison is the thief of joy. But I'll say this, okay? The most annoying thing about comps are that people try to force it. It's not a natural thing. Like when I watched Cooper Kupp, I immediately thought that was Keenan Allen. I did not care for the Wes Welker comparisons and Julian Edelman. I was like, no. If you really watch him, his play, not then you could see that he's Keenan Allen 2.0. Now, he ended up being, I would say, better, but you get the point. So with Leveston, I actually agree with Brandon Thorne here, because as soon as I read that, I was like, I could really see that. Jamon Brown was another tackle who, kicked in at guard, and the Rams weren't really sure where to play him. He played tackle, he played guard. Remember, not that long ago, actually a while ago, but still in the Sean McVay era, Jamon Brown and Rob Havenstein, right? Havenstein played right guard, and Jamon Brown played right tackle early on in camp, and they, changed him around. That is a thing that, I think, I'm not saying Leveston's going to go through that, but I wouldn't be surprised if he does. We saw with Logan Bruss, okay? A tackle that was moved to guard, and it didn't work out. So now he's back at tackle. So it very well could be the same for Leveston, but I think it's best for him to move to guard based on his body structure. Just my opinion. This is somebody that the Rams got at the very end of the draft that I think could have gone as early as early day 3, could have gone in the 4th, 5th round. I think there were teams that were interested in him. He didn't test extremely well, and I think that's why he fell. Also, he's a little bit older. While the Rams focus on guys like that and they want veterans, there are other teams that look at that and is like, well, now I don't feel like I can pay the guy, because by the time he finishes his rookie deal, he's going to be 29 years old, and I don't really want to do that. I'd rather pay a 26-year-old. So, it kind of goes both ways. Everyone has their own flavor. Every team in the NFL has their own preference, and the Rams have become a team that focuses more on experience, more on been there, done that, more on leadership. and just more seasoned, not veterans, but seasoned rookies, if you will, guys that are more likely to make an impact day one, higher floors, maybe sacrifice the ceiling a little bit, as opposed to some other teams that may focus on only ceiling and sacrifice the floor. And it puts more pressure on you to ultimately develop these players. But at the end of the day, you like what you like. And I think the Rams are telling us that they like guys that, 24 years old, played 5 years in college. I mean, that's who they're into. So he's a really good run blocker, similar to Bo Limmer. You definitely see that. And he's got decent enough athleticism in the short area where, this is somebody that I'm not afraid to use as a pulling guard. I think to me, he's going to be a mauler in the trenches. We're going to get a chance to really see him in preseason, and I think that's something that, we can get really excited about. But the hand usage is actually really good in pass protection. He's still a work in progress there, and I think the reality is, he wasn't awful in pass protection at left tackle. As a matter of fact, I thought he was pretty good at the college level, of course. I don't know if that translates to the NFL, but having that wide of a surface area and having to get out there and kick slides and, your pass sets and all of that, it's a lot easier when you're kind of just, shortening up how much, like, your range of motion, how much you have to go out there and, protect the quarterback. Instead, now playing guard, your job is obviously not as wide. You don't have to move as wide as, say, the left tackle as the right tackle. So I think he fits their offense overall. I think he fits the plan. He doesn't need to play right away. And I don't know if he really would be good to play right away because, again, he's not playing his position that he played in college 2,000 snaps. He's playing the position that he played in college, like 50 snaps total. Across the two. So that's something to keep in mind there. I think this is his best chance, though. If he succeeds at guard, he could be a starter, okay? Probably a plug, like a spot starter, not a guy that I would put franchise money into. Stranger things have happened. But he has upside, and the Rams know that, and they have a great coaching staff. Of course, Mike Munchak, who's like the guru, the GOAT, whatever you want to call him for offensive line, he's in the building again. He's a consultant, okay? And, I think Ryan Wendell has done a really nice job. So not only that, but you have pros in front of him. You have a Kevin Dotson that you can learn from. You have a Rob Havenstein. You have, a Jonah Jackson, okay? Like, these are guys that you can learn from as a young player. So you might actually see him this year if things get bad. I'll be honest with you. I think at some point you'll see him start a game, and that could be week 18 when the Rams are sitting their starters, hopefully, because they've already secured the number 1 seed and don't have to play to actually change seeding or anything. But we'll see. I think ultimately he's probably a year or two away from being an impact player. And by impact, I mean putting him in there at guard in a starting lineup and actually getting results. I think he's a year or two away. I think you got to give him some time to really develop as a guard. But I think he could play tackle. And I look at right tackle as an option. And it's really going to be fascinating for me and for you guys to really see how the Rams go about this. Obviously, there are going to be players this year in college that the Rams are going to select. And they could go after an offensive lineman. I'm not saying they won't. But the reality of it is this. KT Leveston could very well end up not working out at guard, just like Logan Bruss, and move to tackle. And he could end up being the right tackle of the future. We have no idea. Limmer could turn into the center. Avila could move back to guard. We don't really know how it's going to go. So I find that interesting. I find that fascinating. Where does Warren McClendon fit in all this? The likelihood that, let's say, those 4 guys end up being, franchise starters is very low, but one of them could. And, I wouldn't necessarily count out Leveston. I like his game. I like his body composition for the position. And I like that. I think he translates very well at guard, and I like who he's around. So I'm not betting against him. I'm curious what you guys think in the comment section about him. As far as 2024, because that's what these videos have been for, they're 2024 previews, albeit it's a little different when you don't have production at the NFL level to go on from your past. So it becomes a little bit more of a scouting report, is what it is. I think 2024, you'll see him a little bit. I don't think you'll see him a lot. I think the most you're going to see him is the preseason, obviously. So we'll see what he's able to do in the preseason. Can he make an impact? He wears number 66. So keep an eye out for KT Leveston. And yeah, that's going to do it. So hope you guys enjoyed. Of course, once again, if you like this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Be sure to follow me on all social media at JKBogan. And also, be sure to check out BetUS, the sponsor of this video. The link is in the description to get your 125% sign-up bonus up to $2,000 today. Take care, folks, and I'll see you guys soon. Later. Do you love talking about the Rams, the NFL, or just want to be a part of a community? Join my free Discord server today. We're over 800 members. We got 24/7 live chat, a level 3 boosted server, the ability to call into JE Live, playing online games with us on Kick streams, toggleable alerts for when I go live on YouTube or Kick so you don't miss a live stream, and exclusive giveaways. Click the link in the description, the comments section, or the link that comes up in the video to learn more and join today.